And here is the Writer's Almanac for Monday. It's the 29th of March, 2021. It was on this day in 1944 that Anne Frank decided to rewrite her diary as an autobiography. She'd gotten this little red and white checkered diary as a present for her 13th birthday back in 1942. And a few weeks later, her sister Margaret got a notice to report for a forced labor camp by the Nazis, and the next day the family went into hiding. In March of 1944, Anne Frank and her family listened to a radio broadcast by the Dutch education minister in exile, urging ordinary Dutch citizens living under Nazi occupation to preserve documents for future generations. He said, if our descendants are to understand fully what we as a nation have had to endure, then what we really need are ordinary documents, letters, a diary. And so Anne Frank went back through 2 years of diary entries, and she rewrote them. She gave members of her family pseudonyms. She edited for clarity and character development and background, and she decided that after the war she would write a memoir called Het Achterhuis, which means the house behind. She wrote, I know that I can write. A couple of my stories are good. My descriptions of the secret annex are humorous. There's a lot in my diary that speaks, but whether I have real talent remains to be seen. In the spring and summer of 1944, she filled more than 300 pages of paper with her revised work. She was still working on it when the Nazis came in August of 1944 and took them away to concentration camps. 1865, on this day, marked the beginning of the Appomattox Campaign, the final campaign of the Civil War. It's the birthday of the politician and author Eugene McCarthy, born Watkins, Minnesota, 1916. The novelist and screenwriter Judith Guest, Detroit, 1936, author of the novel Ordinary People. It's the birthday of the poet Ronald Stewart Thomas, born 1913 in Cardiff, Wales, advocate of Welsh nationalism and a harsh critic of the English. His autobiography, written in Welsh, entitled Neb, meaning nobody. Here's a poem for today by Hayden Carruth, entitled Twilight Comes. Twilight comes to the little farm at winter's end. The snowbanks, high as the eaves, which melted and became pitted during the day, are freezing again and crunch under the dog's foot. The mountains from their place behind our shoulders lean close a moment as if for a final inspection, but with kindness, a benediction as the darkness falls. It is my 50th year. Stars come out one by one with a softer brightness like the first flowers of spring. I hear the brook stirring, trying its music beneath the ice. I hear, almost, I'm not certain, remote tinklings, perhaps sheep bells on the green side of a juniper hill, or wine glasses on a summer night. But no, my wife is at her work. There behind yellow windows, supper will be soon. I crunch the icy snow and tilt my head to study the last silvery light of the western sky in the pine boughs. I smile, then I smile again, just because I can. I am not an old man, not yet. A poem by Hayden Carruth, Twilight Comes, from his collected shorter poems 1946 to 1991, published by Copper Canyon Press, and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac, funded by donations from listeners like you, now available on PRX for distribution by your local radio station. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.